So during the height of the last ice age in North America, the landscape looked a lot different than what it does right here, right now. North America was dominated by glaciers. They extended all the way down to the Great Lakes, which were formed by glaciers carving out the landscape. So the landscape looked a lot different 18,000 years ago than it does today. So currently, up here in the Canadian Arctic, we have less glacial ice than there used to be, but what has been left behind are a whole series and network of fjords. And the Northwest Passage itself is basically a large fjord system that we can now travel through, and instead of glacial ice, we're left with sea ice. So sea ice is really a habitat, just like the tundra is a habitat for plant species and other things like that. Sea ice is a habitat for animals like seals and polar bears and walrus. And even animals as small as krill. Polar bears are the iconic species that actually rely on sea ice as a platform in which to hunt seals. And as an ecosystem, since this ecosystem is changing, since there's less and less reliable sea ice from year to year, it makes it much more difficult for animals like polar bears to find the prey that they're after. When I look at the sea ice, I do think about human involvement, human impact, and the consequence of not having sea ice. And sea ice plays a role for wildlife, plays a role for the distribution of heat around our planet, because as sea ice forms, it creates currents because you have cold, salty, dense water sinking and actually is a driver in currents like the Gulf Stream. So this time and age that we live in is very much driven by humans and the decisions we're going to make in the future.